Joining me now live in studio is criminal lawyer Ari Goldkind to talk more about the Ghomeshi case and Mutso after that. Let's start with Ghomeshi. Ari, I was talking with Kim Schofield moments ago about this. It seems to distill down to this. It's criminal versus kinky, predatory versus participatory. Is that fair and accurate?
It is fair, and if you look at what Ms. Couture said today, she didn't have an opportunity to consent to kink. She didn't have an opportunity to consent to kissing. There was some kissing, but she didn't have an opportunity to consent to maybe where Mr. Ghomeshi, on her version, was taking this. So even if it's kinky or anything else, it has to sort of be predatory on the examination in chief version. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen this afternoon. But if you don't give somebody the opportunity to say no, especially when you're both sober, you're in the man's house, seems a little bit predatory on her version. I have a feeling we're going to hear a different side later on today.
And let's talk about that, because cross-examination by Marie Henein will begin in about 9-10 minutes time. Yesterday, or the last 2 days prior to that, she was very effective in her cross-examination of the first complainant, who we cannot identify, poking a lot of holes in that testimony that she provided to the Crown. Do you expect the same sort of thing here? Because it seems like Lucie de Couture has a much more fluid sort of arc to her narrative, much better recollection, and it's, I would assume, a little tougher to sort of find the flaws and the wrinkles there.
And I'd be shocked if there wasn't a little bit more preparation mentally for Ms. de Couture, who we saw a masterclass in absolutely proper, and this is being covered quite well today, proper cross-examination from Marie Henein. There was never an objection. Think this through when people say she's out for blood, she's doing this, she's crossing the line. The Crown, the most fair, even-minded Crown, and this Crown deserves praise. He's not getting a lot in the quarter's eye here. He deserves it. He's a very fine Crown. He didn't object to Ms. Henein, and that's somebody who would object if any one of her questions crossed the line. Judge Horkins never once said, Ms. Henein, your reputation precedes you. Your shark-like qualities, I'm going to ask you to dial it down. Never happened. So for people who really want to go inside baseball into the courtroom, the second a lawyer like me crosses a line, says something intemperate or over the line, a judge is going to wrap my knuckles. So I think it's very important for people to understand she couldn't have done her job any better. And if anybody else gets in trouble in this city or anywhere else, you'd be lucky to have her. Moving to this afternoon, though, Ms. de Couture has given herself some outs. She's being very open about why would you see him again? Why would you stay in his house? Why would you send him something? This seems to me to be a little bit of a preempting of where Ms. Henein is going, but with the amount of meticulous preparation Ms. Henein has done that we saw on Monday and Tuesday, even knowing the exact number of media interviews, 24, these women, that kind of recall, got to give the due there. I expect Couture to not sort of fly by the seat of her pants, gets caught in something that doesn't make sense, the way we saw on Tuesday, that email, the notorious email, the bikini picture, the question, why did you send that? And the answer, I can assure you, George, even for supporters of the young woman in the courtroom, they didn't think that was as good of an answer as what potentially a more truthful answer might have been.
All right, let's move on to wrap this up with the Mutso trial today. Given the guilty plea now by the accused, why release him on bail when there's a guarantee of jail time, and that sentencing comes up in just 19 days.
Right, and I've been troubled by this morning. I've talked about the potential for people to think there's two tiers of justice. One for the 1%, and this is not even the 1%, Mr. Mutso. This is the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, where $1 million, which is an incredible amount to you, me, and most people watching this, that's about $100 in Mutso currency. So I'm concerned about that. Now, the flip side to that coin is that defense lawyer, if I have a client who has a serious medical condition that cannot get that kind of care in the jail, in other words, if he's surgery tomorrow at Sunnybrook or Mount Sinai, he should be out. But, there are a lot of people on ankle bracelets on far less serious charges. He moved out of that building as quick as I've ever seen in a white SUV to go back home. And, I hope that the public is asking some questions, but I hope in the next few days we hear that those medical conditions are really the kind that you can't get in jail. Because I'll just end with this, George. You go to any jail with me today on a tour where all of clients of mine and other lawyers' clients are, there are a lot of people that need medical care there that really are on perpetual lockdown, that can't even see a doctor properly, and it's something the ministry is aware of. So I'm hoping it's not just because there's wealth involved. Some say it's routine today. I think it's routine in that wealth range. I'm not so sure it's routine for people that don't have two nickels to rub together.
Criminal lawyer Ari Goldkind, always a pleasure. Thank you for the time, the analysis, and the candor.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thanks.